can't get it.
But you see how much kidnappers are picking from victims.
My thing is, government will, I think all the stakeholders in this together, and I think we get the 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning, happy new month. This is the first day of April 1st, 2022. And it's my pleasure to be hosting the last edition for the week 2. My name is Winifred Ubebo, and I have my regular guest on the set with me, and the public affairs analyst, Mr. Machid Dahiru.
Thank you very much.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's always a pleasure to have you on
It's
the
good to be
program.
back too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. In leadership inside Nigeria, we'll be discussing some major headline stories on some select newspapers this Friday. And we are flagging up with the nation's most influential and leading newspaper, Leadership. What is Leadership saying on its cover this Friday? 2023 presidency, Northern PDP aspirants intensify plan to produce next president. 2023 presidency, Northern PDP aspirants intensify plan to produce next president. Tambuwa, Bala, Saraki, Hayatuddin take consensus campaign to IBB in Minna. Nigeria's unity progress more important, says ex-military president. 2023 presidency, Northern PDP aspirants intensify plan to produce next president. Tambuwa, Bala, Saraki, Hayatuddin take consensus campaign to IBB in Minna. Nigeria's unity progress more important, says ex-military president. Let's see the points at issue on Leadership's cover. Can you pull up? Yes, the first point. The first point is seeking a consensus PDP presidential candidate for the 2023 general elections. 4 northern aspirants, Aminu Tambuwa, Bala Mohammed, Bukola Saraki, and Mohammed Hayatuddin, visited former military president Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, IBB, to seek his support. The second point at issue, apart from Hayatuddin, the others had individually visited IBB in the past to seek his endorsement. Almost everyone who aspires to be president has visited IBB for political patronage. Third issue, out of the 14 PDP presidential aspirants that have picked nomination forms, 5 are from the north: Tambuwa, northwest; Saraki, north central; Atiku, Bala Mohammed, and Hayatuddin, northeast. And the last 4-point issue is the aspirants are engaged in intense consultations ahead of the June 4 INEC deadline for parties to produce their presidential flag bearers amid the raging debate about zoning. Sedairo, these are the points at stake on Leadership.
Yes, well reported, incisive, authoritative, and as brilliant as ever. Again, I will not fail to commend Leadership.
Thank you so much.
You are now one of Nigeria's leading newspapers, indeed, and name. So,
you're like clapping to that.
No. You mean your lead stories are usually well captured with detailed analysis. Even your writers gives an inclination of what is contained inside the newspaper. So it's kudos for all of you.
Thank you so much.
At the office there. So you are doing a very great job. And let's move to pass.
Now,
back to the issue at hand.
It's
a bit disturbing, if not even immoral, for the northern elements of the PDP to be coming out in these large numbers, seeking to be president of the country at this time, when the mood in the country suggests a shift of power from the north after 8 years to the south. It is immoral because in the last election, 2019, there was a resolution of the PDP that the presidency should remain in the North. Because at that time, the incumbent president was just 4 years from that region. So it was believed that the region had another 4 years to go. And so the PDP now wrote its candidature to the northern part of this country. And only Northerners contested for the party ticket in 2019. And the Northern that actually emerged was Atiku Abubakar, former vice president. And the reason for his emergence, among other reasons, was he was believed to be the only one that will run for just one term. It was a major consideration among those who supported him because they believed that due to his age, he would willingly agree to run for one term and hand over to the South so as not to distort the balance of power between North and South in 2023. That was why the younger aspirants were not given that opportunity because they were believed that they would not willingly, But Atiku believed that at that actual age, I'm sure that he would willingly give up and allow some other person to take over. In order not to distort the zonal element that has been elected in Nigeria since 1960. It started in 1999. So I'm a bit appalled, and they're about to derail this party. The way they're going about it is so that to waste the party's time, and if any of them emerges as candidate, the party known as the PDP will go into extinction post 2023 because it will lose in the south and lose in the north. And you can take this to the bank.
Okay, but I want to chip in because you have always been of the opinion that government is all about business. Perhaps don't you think PDP is also looking this way because feeding a southerner, they may not be able to garner the massive votes from the north. Don't you think so?
They cannot garner the massive support from the north as
And
well.
PDP cannot afford to be in the opposition in this next
Okay, let me explain something to you.
2023.
People have a simplistic understanding of the voting pattern in northern Nigeria. And just because President Muhammadu Buhari will always run and he will kind of garner the majority votes in the Muslim north, which made him a very influential and powerful candidate for any election at any point in time. So it has an assumption that Buhari gets that vote because it's just a northerner. And so if Buhari is not contesting and another northerner is contesting, there's a 12 million bankable vote that's not going to inherit. And this is a fallacy. It is not true. The mass following for Buhari is peculiar and specific to Buhari. Only. And it was certain circumstances that actually brought that together for him.
But don't you think that one will also have a lot to play too? It's the same mass following Buhari will also invariably also affect the one he chooses, the one he supports for APC.
Now, Buhari, despite his poor performance in power, despite misgivings about his leadership style, has managed to still hold on to his power base in northern Nigeria up until this moment. Buhari is of the conservative wing of the northern political establishment. And as we speak today, President Muhammadu Buhari has finished consultations with other elements of the conservative wing of northern political establishment that is still in firm control of the region politically. They include the governors on the platform of the APC, leading traditional rulers, influential ministers, public affairs commentators, and even journalists that belong to that wing of northern Nigeria power bloc. They have come to the conclusion, they have taken a decision that power should shift to the south in 2023. And that is why there's nobody from that part of the country that has indicated interest to burn for the country on the platform of the APC. And the implication of this is that have convinced themselves that it's in their own best interest to shift to the south. They've done that. And all eyes have been dotted, all T's have been crossed in this respect. And so when the president decides to anoint any of the candidates from the South, and the person is giving the APC flag, that person is the only person that can inherit President Muhammad Buhari's support base in the North, and not another from another party.
That's what we are saying. Perhaps PDP is looking at this. That is why it also wants to just
And that is
directly.
sailing against the wind. That vote is for Buhari and his group. And they have, they only have the authority to transfer it, or legitimacy rather. No authority. The legitimacy to transfer that same power. Anybody with that choice from the South
APC. Okay.
on APC platform.
On APC platform.
Let me put it simply for you. People like Amechi, people like Achiwaju Tinubu, people like Osinbajo, among many other leading contenders for the presidency and the government APC, are seen in the Muslim North among Buhari supporters as Buhari's helpers, those who help Buhari to come to power. They feel they have a moral obligation towards these people. They owe them an allegiance of some sort. And so to them, a Southerner who supported their own to become president is better than a Northerner who did not, or who opposed him. This is the common, this is common sense. And if you look at the statement from the North, from governors like Nasir El-Rufai, from governors like Masari, Ganduje, governors like Zulum, governors like Atiku Bagudu, if you look at the statement from them, governors like the governors of Niger, Nasarawa, everybody seems to have paid attention to one or two of the contending from the South. The other day, I listened to Adenugu who are saying, look, we owe Tinubu a debt of gratitude. What he did for us at the time that Jonathan himself violated the zoning formula. The first time was in 2011. But the second time when he violated it, and we seem to be helpless against an incumbent, these people rallied around to get out of power for us. We owe them a duty. And it's unfortunate that the PDP does not seem to understand this issue like this. And the northern wing of PDP is set to pitch the PDP again, once again, against the popular mood in the country, as was the case in 2015. But let me say this. If the PDP fields another candidate with the hope of getting northern votes, not only would they not get the northern votes, they will also lose the crucial support base for the PDP, which is the South, South, and the Southeast. If you look at the declaration of Atiku Abubakar for president, it was followed by an angry reaction from the South. The statement that was signed by Ike Clark, Adebanjo, Bitrus Pogu, and one other, chieftain of these 18 nationalities. It came out blazing hot. And then reminded Atiku that we supported you to become president in 2019. And let me tell you this. Out of the 11 million votes that Atiku gathered, most of those votes, 95% of those votes came from the South South, the Southeast, and the Southwest, and most of the Middle Belt. And I'm just so saying it's not the turn of this other side to do it. So if you sail against the way they turn out 19 by fielding a southern candidate, another candidate for PDP, when even the conservative APC is going south, Southerners will vote for the APC, Northerners will vote for the APC, the PDP will go into extinction. It's as simple as that. But the people are very careful. And I want to say this again, the four aspirants that are parading themselves are derailing the PDP. It is dishonorable of them. Atiku fought with all his life for zoning in 2011 and 2015. Tamba did the same. Saraki did the same. Hayatu is a new title again. How did you fight against zoning to the point of doing at the party in 2011 and becoming on the PDP in 2015 into APC just to defeat the Southern that was trying to violate the zoning formula? And then today you stand in violation of the zoning formula and you're talking about winnability. Who says that the South cannot win the election? How can you as a Northerner look at the South and say without us and without flying the Northerner you can't win an election? This is worse than racism. It is insensitive. It is irresponsible. And I have personally reached out to a lot of PDP people to say, your party is about to be derailed. The least you can expect for this election is, even if the PDP does not win general elections, presidential election, at least retain your base. The PDP can be alive in a post-Buhari era to rebound. If you do not do the needful, and you allow any of these people to take your tickets, you will lose, and like you're going to one party state, and the PDP will blame for it, and not for the moment for it.
Thank you so much. And bear in mind also that I think Atiku was given the ticket in 2015.
And the South supported that people with their life.
So, sorry, 2019.
Look, you need to see
Yes,
the
the South
pattern of
supported, yes,
with
yes.
their soul
Mm,
for free.
mm.
Look, take Abuja for example. I think we won Abuja
Yes,
because of a certain demography in this town. They mounted all the polling units
mm.
from morning till night.
Right.
Make sure they delivered it without one naira compensation. They did it because they felt it was a better option than the president.
Mm.
And now it's a turn of these people. One of them that took Abaka to throw his weight behind P2B.
And even in the state that APC, two states that APC, that is in the south and the
Yes.
east, in the southeast, Imo and Edo state,
Yes.
PDP still won. They still
It was
voted for
overwhelming.
Atiku, yes.
But
It is
Atiku himself
overwhelming.
only managed to win his state narrowly. Atiku lost the capital, lost his polling unit. It was a scandal. Atiku lost Kano. Atiku lost Kaduna. Now, I don't know. None of them were able to deliver any part of the state for the president ticket in the north. Another was won narrowly. It took the intervention of certain other demographics in that state to get him to win. And today, instead of you to respect the zone arrangement that is there, not just in the parties, across the country, even in the NBA, they do zoning. NMA, they do zoning. NANS, they do zoning. So why is anybody surprised that there is zoning today towards the south for 2023? I've looked at the aspirants from the APC and the PDP so far, those that have indicated interest to contest. P2B is in the clear lead in the court of public opinion. People see him as a decent man. And if you look at what's happening in Nigeria today, we can zone and zone competently. That is, get a southerner that is competent. They are not mutually exclusive. So people feel the P2B is very decent. He has demonstrated some level of prudence, probity in public administration. And people are saying, why not fly with this man? Even if you don't win all of the elections, fly with this man. And at least maintain your base and lose honorably. Than to lose in a manner that will get you out of the political system entirely. Because it will be a betrayal of the base that has supported you faithfully since 2015 for you to have to come out and take their turn because you have the money or you have the population. It is very wrong. It's very wrong. So this is very disturbing. And I like what the president said. Nigeria's unity and progress, more important, unity for progress. There's a cloud of power shift to the south. And even the most conservative leader, President Buhari, has acceded to it. And it is now you people that are supposed to be the liberals in the north that is attempting to violate what is the tone of the south. So that the president is saying national unity. Zoning is to preserve our unity, to give everybody a sense of belonging. And it's a constitutional matter. It is in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Section 14.3 talks about the composition of the government should be in a way that no one dominates the other. It is there. So zoning is only in furtherance of that portion of the Constitution. So why are people coming out at this point to contest? My dear, this is despicable. It is dishonorable. And they don't know what they are doing to themselves and their party until they go to that post with any of these people.
Thank you so much. From leadership, we spent quite some considerable time analyzing 2023 presidency and the PDP issue. From leadership, we're moving over to another paper we have on our menu this morning, talking about the ill-fated Kaduna and Abuja train attack. This day newspaper is leading with it this morning. Let's see what this day has on the story. Challenged by train attack, doubted by neighbors nation, military launches offensive against terrorists. Challenged by train attack, doubted by neighbors nation, military launches offensive against terrorists. Kills a 34 insurgents linked to bombing incident. Outraged lawmakers say nowhere is safe again in Nigeria. One NSA sacked, accused agencies of profiting from insecurity. Dokuwa, Nigerians should be allowed to bear arms in self-defense. El-Rufai Amechi's confessions confirm APC's complicity, says PDP. I'll take the headline story again. Challenged by train attack, doubted by neighbors nation, Military launches offensive against terrorists. Kills 34 insurgents linked to bombing incidents. Outraged lawmakers say nowhere is safe again in Nigeria. Want NSA sacked. Accused agencies of profiting from insecurity. Doguwa, Nigerians should be allowed to bear arms in self-defense. El-Rufai Amechi's confessions confirm APC's complicity, says PDP. Still on this train issue, the Nation newspaper has the same story on this Friday, April 1st, 2022. Let's see what Nation is saying on it. Fears mount over 136 people on attacked Abuja Kaduna train. Fears mount over 136 people on attacked Abuja Kaduna train. They can't be contacted, says NRC. Terrorists phone 5 hostages' families. Angry reps pass vote of no confidence in security chiefs. Police defuse IED at train station. Panic in FCT Kaduna Abuja road.
Hmm. The tragedy
Hmm.
of the train attack
Hmm.
between Kaduna and Abuja is still operating several days after.
It is.
Because it was a major blow on our national security architecture, even though it was something that was foretold. It was something that didn't require too much of intelligence to know what happened.
Yes.
Just common sense. When you abandon the road and embark on traveling through the rail line because of insecurity, it is common sense to know that sooner or later this thing will spread here. I have said it in my private conversations, publicly, I've written about it. The trains are not safe. So look, people are aware that you're traveling with this train. All of you big money. The people know now. I mean, these people know. So it is not safe. You should know that it will be attacked. And the solution to this problem is not what Alechi is talking about. 3 billion naira.
3 billion.
No. You cannot secure Abuja Kaduna rail line in isolation with securing the entire environment. So even if the surveillance equipment tells you that bandits are coming, so what will you do about it? Will the equipment shoot the bandits and kill them? So we need a comprehensive security mechanism that secures the road, secures the villages, secures everywhere. And the rail lines will secure. We cannot continue to adopt ad hoc approach towards serious issues of national security. Now, from the headlines we are seeing on the front page of the Nation, it suggests that probably 136 people are actually unaccounted for. They are not dead, but again, they are not found.
And
So they could be in the hands of the.
days after they attacked Abuja Kaduna train, we really cannot see the manifest. Nigerians
that
are
is
not sure the number of people that were
That's
really on board.
another conversation entirely. Let us go after life first. Talk about corruption. That's a completely different. It simply reveals to you the corruption even in that sector, the under recovery of revenue for government. So it's a different ball, it's a
No,
different.
as it is now, we don't really know how many people have been kidnapped
So because
and how
a
many people
train
were
is supposed
rescued.
a
Because we're told
train
they
is
need to
believed
rescue
to
some.
have over 900 people on board. But records show that the tickets that were recorded against that train was less than 400. So these are the issues. So you can in such a situation you cannot have a reliable manifest because there's something that is not aligning in the figures already. And that makes it even more difficult. So one cannot rely on family members now who are aware that their loved ones were on board and can now speak and so will now begin to count from there. So it's a tragedy that should have not happened in the first place. But again, this is simply an extension of the wider insecurity that has engulfed Nigeria and particularly Kaduna State. The thing is, we have been asked not to speak the truth about this matter. They came up with something called conflict sensitive reportage, and the government forced this agenda on some NGOs and they're calling media practitioners, even though I was not called at any point because probably they know my opinion on issues.
On issues, yes.
So, but I've noticed that a lot of times they've called a lot of people to tell them on how, particularly tell them to downplay the matter. That the more you report these things with the truth about the issue, you are escalating violence. And I'm like, how? Where in the world has truth ever escalated violence? It is falsehood that leads to the escalation of violence. But somebody somewhere thinks that we shouldn't talk about it anymore. Even this report, the first report that came out from the authority was that the army has rescued everybody, everybody is intact, everything is fine.
Exactly. Me too.
But,
That was
but for the fact that one, Twitter has been reactivated in Nigeria, and other social media networks are actually working. So we were on board, had to now send out situation report. That was how we got to know the true situation. Otherwise, the authorities would have kept from us and said,
yes, they
they've
rescued us. Because that was the impression I also
That
got.
was the question. So a lot of people are even doubting the stories of victims. That lady that was
Dr.
thrown to,
Chinelo.
she was thrown to her death because she said out the shot. Somebody said, send the picture. So are you dead now? Because they went to the government narrative. You see the danger? And if this people didn't raise the alarm, more people would have died.
Yes.
Meaning even the response from the army would have been late because everybody knows how it won't happen. They have refused us to say the truth. They say we should stop talking about it. But we'll keep talking. Because you know that's only the truth that can set us free. Why is it difficult for this government to tame the cancer of killer headsmen activities across this country? It's a question to ask our commander-in-chief. What is the problem? Why are you not able to deal with this group? These people have shot down an Air Force fighter at once across Zamfara and Katsina axis. They have been killing soldiers. They've been killing Nigerians in thousands, abducting us in thousands.
You saw what they almost did at Kaduna Airport.
They attacked NDA, Kaduna Airport. In fact, in recent days, there have been consistent attacks across other capital communities.
The next day, we heard that on the highway, Kaduna,
They blocked the highway. The same thing in Plateau, in Benue. The question is, why has our commander-in-chief not been able to deal with a terror organization that is majorly constituted of people of his own ethnic stock? We will not keep asking this question until we get answers. Every tribe has its sociology. When you talk about Fulani terrorists, they tell me I'm calling all Fulanis. I said, no. There's a difference between the ethnic profile of a terrorist and the criminal profiling of an entire ethnic group. What we are telling you is the ethnic profile of this particular kind of terrorists. We need to emphasize it because the commander-in-chief has come out severally to make certain statements that does not show the political will to deal with these people. These people, in some instances, are portrayed as freedom fighters. They're not wanting to exhume some long-buried grazing root of grazing reserves because in absence of such, they cannot do another thing. So that's why they are doing criminal activities. So we're saying, is this still the case? Why have we not seen the political will? Why was it possible for Nigerian state to go to Kenya and bring back in America and put him in jail and go after Sunday Igboho? Why is it not possible to do the same thing for terrorists within Nigeria that are operating within the country? Why is it not possible to get them arrested? Even when Shegumi can reach them, can go to them and have a conversation with them.
Yes.
Even journalists can go there and have chat with them.
Even Toji has been granting interviews in some media.
So what? How is it impossible to now get across to these people if these other people can get to their relations? What is the problem? At this point, we need to ask, we are dying, we are under siege by a tribal army of terrorists. And we need to speak up. This is one of the greatest threats today to Nigeria's corporate existence. It is this issue. More than any other one, it is this issue. And why has the northern region not come together to have an initiative, a security initiative, to combat this matter the way the southwestern governors came together to form a protocol? Why is there no Amotekun in northern Nigeria? Why are we comfortable with this? Are we condoning this? And the only time it hits us is when it affects us directly. Like I've said before, somebody is saying that North is under siege. I said, no, the North have been under siege for a long time. When they attacked Benue, when they attacked Taraba, when they attacked Plateau, when the former army chief of staff of Nigeria, General Chiwadadima, came out to say that this set of people are killing the people and the army appears to be colluding with them. Nigeria was under siege even at that time. So my question is this: what is happening? What is our commander in chief doing about this? Why is he not taking the right action against these people? Instead of occupying the whole of, is there a plan to surrender Nigeria to these people? Or what exactly is the problem? So if we do not have answers to this question, we can only talk about semantics here. Yes, I agree to some extent with the House leader. I don't know where. I don't have my position for a long time. But at this point, we need to liberalize the use of arms in Nigeria. We need to allow for a limited but strategic civil or civilian armament program that allows communities and some individuals to protect themselves. I am all for that. In fact, the starting point for me would have been for communities that are under attack to form vigilante groups that will be incorporated into the Civil Defense Corps. A volunteer unit should be created in the Civil Defense Corps to incorporate community vigilante groups into that formal military organization.
As a matter of fact, we had a vigilante group in Sokoto. And when they went after
Yes,
people,
that-
they even went to the station and
Yes.
burnt down the station, they
Yes.
banned the vigilante group.
That's to tell you that there is more to it than meet the eyes. Instead of buying vigilante group, why did you strengthen the vigilante group? For example, I've had complaints that vigilante groups are made up of Hausa people, and so they usually use it to attack the Fulani people, and it has caused a trouble of saying, no. Second one, constitute a vigilante group that comprised of all ethnic groups in this location. Yes. If the former vigilante group have become a Hausa tribal terror group, yes, disband them, not that, but don't put them on that and not replace them with another one. Constitute one that has a Hausa farmer, a Fulani cattle breeder, an Igbo pepper dealer, a Yoruba herb seller, all of them together. And so that they can fight Hausa, Fulani, and other terror groups collectively. And I'm saying this should be taken a step further. They should be competent into the civil defense for the purpose of better training and better armament. If they need the right caliber of arms to fight it. You cannot be fighting such a terror group with green guns or machete. No, you can't do that. We need the right caliber of weapons and mobility so that they will be like a volunteer corps. Because yes, the government might not have to take out the pressure of paying salaries and whatever, but the state cannot come in. Individuals cannot contribute. Community can even contribute to something. This corps, we're going to maintain it. All we need from you is the right equipment and uniform. So they can mount civil defense guards across communities as first responders. Then the army and the police can now come in for support. All over the world, counterinsurgency of this nature is actually led by the community. If you've seen what's happening in Ukraine, for example, following the Russian invasion, people have been volunteering to pick up arms. So I am in full support of what Adogbu has said. It's not the first I've said it. House of Rep member Mohamed Mongunu from Borno has said it before.
Governor of
Okay.
Katsina, Masawi.
Has said it. Okay, Toby from Enugu has said it. Even Otoma has said it.
Yes.
I have said it severally. I have written. So I said, look, there is already an overproliferation of arms. You can't control it. You are not able to control it. So it is not very wise to now limit law-abiding citizens from not legally acquiring arms to protect themselves. We need to protect ourselves first until somehow something happens and we're able to restore authority back to the constituted authority. Now that we're having a shared authority with non-state actors, please allow us to protect ourselves. Allow us to protect our families. If nobody knew that People on board that train were armed in one way or the other. They would have been to come in and kidnap people. They would have been engaged in firefights until security arrives. And by the time bandits know that each time they go to attack a train, it's always being resisted. They will stop coming. They don't want to die as well.
Yeah, taking up insecurity, that's what News Direct has on its cover this morning. Let's see what News Direct is saying on protecting oneself security. It says insecurity, Nigerians should be allowed to carry arms for self-defense. Reps say NSA should resign, and the NULGE national president says it is long overdue.
It is long overdue for a major shake-up even within the security intelligence community. You see, when we criticize this government for over,
Would the result to state of anarchy
you
for
mean,
everyone to
no.
carry arms for
There's
self-defense?
already anarchy. What can be more anarchy? What could be more of anarchy than what we have now? There is already anarchy. When we talk about this fear of there will be anarchy, I'm like, can you travel on the road from Kaduna to Abuja? No, that's anarchy already. How? What more do you want to happen before you know that there's anarchy? And it's increasing. They go to the airport. We go to train stations. In times of war, everybody carries arms. Nigeria in a state of war, we need to carry arms. There's no anarchy there. Because right now, the reason I don't have a gun in my house, I don't want to have. Not because the authorities can prevent me from having it. They don't have a mechanism to do so. So I'm law abiding enough not to have. Even when I have the opportunity to criminally acquire weapons, I'm become a bandit myself. So I'm not. Meaning that if you don't give me the legal permission to carry arms, I will not misuse it because if I wanted to misuse it even now, nothing stops me at all. I will misuse the arms and they will offer me amnesty. Then I'll say, come and take amnesty. Yeah, so if I've not done that and you've not done that, and all of us have not done that, it means if we are not allowed to take some level of self-defense, there's nothing wrong with it.
Now, given the level of insecurity we have in the land, many Nigerians have actually come short of calling Nigeria a failed state.
It is a
Describe
failed.
Nigeria as a failed state.
No. I don't know that Nigerians have not yet come to that conclusion. I have posed that conclusion.
Many are shying away from.
I've been saying it since 2020 at least. Nigeria is inching dangerously towards failed state destination. And as we speak, Nigeria already Nigeria is exhibiting advanced signs. Not anyone inside, advanced symptoms and signs of state failure. What is left is state collapse. What is state failure? When the government is unable to enforce law and order, when it's unable to meet up with the basic responsibility of governance, which is welfare and security, you have a failed state in waiting. Nigeria is inching towards that. We can no longer take care of the welfare of our citizens and their security. We can't secure a less than 200-kilometer road connecting Abuja, the federal capital, to Kaduna, Nigeria's home of some of the most important defense infrastructure in Nigeria. You have the Nigerian Defense Academy there, you have the Command and Staff College there, you have the Force Base there, you have the number one division of Nigeria Army there. You have
Perhaps that's what many people have permutations that they want to take control. This Kaduna State because of
it's a very dangerous one inside because
you see it that way.
it is possible. It's a possibility. And once that happens, Nigeria is done with. As we speak, northern Nigeria has been cut off technically from Africa and the rest of Nigeria. Because I was speaking to a child and officer this morning who is in Calabar. And I'm asking how do you want to go to Kaduna? He doesn't know yet until he comes to Abuja and find it. He will think of a way to go to Kaduna. Because the train is not safe. The roads are bad.
Yes. The airport is more.
It's not functioning. So how do you get to Kaduna? You see, we didn't get here in one day. The moment this government elevated sectionalism over and above nationalism as a state policy, we predicted this end that we are going to get here. When this problem started early, the presidency of this country took a stand that was akin to supporting a group that was made up of the kinsmen of the commander in chief. I say this with all sense of responsibility because we want at one point in time we are warning that this
What lies
is
ahead?
not right. When you elevate sectionalism as we have seen in the last 7 years, you create a division. Nigeria today is very polarized.
It is.
People are disunited. And we're like, so the country cannot defend itself against common enemies. We've been fighting the cow war since 2016. The presidency will write statements ascribing violence to former herders clashes. And you begin to wonder, are farmers allowed to clash with herders in a society that's gone by laws? Is this something that we need to romanticize? What is farmer herders clashes? Each time you ask the president about insecurity, herders will tell you, man. But the governor came to me and told me that some people enter somebody's farm to eat it and blah blah blah. I want to go back there and wash it out. And then next you start hearing about this grazing route and been occupied by people. So that's how they tied what's ordinarily terrorism to electricity. And they turn out to blame us in the media for giving that electricity back. Governor Elfa in 2016 made a statement. In 2016, he said, the killings in Southern Kaduna are being carried about Fulani militiamen. He said it with his own mouth. And then they put it in his mouth. That's from mobilized from 14 countries in Nigeria to come and carry out a personal attack for any attack of Fulani communities in Southern Kaduna. And I'm like, the governor of the state is saying this about it. And I have said to them, he has given them money and told them that he's one of them. They stop killing in the state. And I said, you don't have to be a terrorist. You don't do that. Those who kill the Fulani in Southern Kaduna should be prosecuted according to the law and constituted to pay. But why that is not yet done, or why that should be done, nobody has a right to carry out the prisons. I'll tell you what about the attacks. The man who killed somebody from the community. We are going to carry out a prison attack. It's not that man that killed the person that going to kill. It's one who simply shares the message to that person. So where is the role of justice in the human society here? If you allow reprisals as a matter of cultural rights to take place, we allowed it. We were supposed to fight these people. We are making excuses for them. They are hot. Their cattle were rushing. We need to do amnesty. The governor of Katsina said it is still being that they swore with the Quran. And I asked, those of you who are going to swore with the Quran to steal public money, did you not steal public money? Supposed to be the ban to judge the Quran and abide by it. What are you talking about? What sort of naivety is that? That's how the thing was allowed to fester. Fortunately for us, Commander Fire has woken up from his slumber. And that's an all-out military operation. But our present commander chief seems to still be in sync with the earlier position that this was a legitimate grounds. And until the president decides that we have no legitimate grounds to kill anybody, until he decides that and make a decision, this problem will be here with us for a long time. The only reason they declared them as terrorists was because the activities in the northwest became too unbearable. And now, I don't know what today is crying that they are attacking Kaduna, Abuja corridor.
Yes.
Did Adunkwa cry when they attacked Benue? Did he cry when they attacked Taraba? Did he cry when they attacked other places in Plateau? This is what I've said. Until we put our tribalistic mindset aside, because until we do that, we cannot come together for the common enemy. So these people are very smart, these bandits. They understand us. They know we are very foolish as a people because of our tribalism. They know. So they're playing games with us. One time they give a narrative that some other people think it is a narrative and support them. And I'm like, are you supporting this? At another time they do some other things. So, but as it is, they were dividing us, all of us, because of our own foolishness. And they're now killing, naming, and making money out of us. This whole thing was all about money from the beginning. It has nothing to do with grazing routes or cattle route. The person who rushes cattle actually is the same killer herdsman that's also a human being. If you're not a skilled herdsman, you can't even rustle cattle. It's not possible. It takes a skilled herdsman to use skill for someone to chase away the cattle breeder and then guard his cattle towards another direction. A non-Fulani cattle breeder, what would you tell the cattle to move on and cattle will obey? You don't even understand the culture and the science of animal husbandry. So it takes somebody who is skilled to do that. Just like somebody who, a mechanic who is skilled, who is so knowledgeable about mechanics of a car, to provide the car and steal it. So most of the most successful car thieves are mechanics.
You're right.
Yes. So why do you blame somebody else for doing this? You also catch some of your own people, you kidnap people, other people, you kidnap people's children, and you can't even have schools. And there are schools in Afara, Kaduna, that are wasted that don't have, that you don't feel your quota in federal universities. And you're claiming that you're marginalized and nobody wants you to go to school. Schools in Northern Nigeria are practically free. Asking for people to go, nobody goes to school. Only a few will leave go to school. They're not even able to meet up their quota. So people that make up these excuses for all these years have to be held responsible. We're supposed to be detected as terrorists since 2016 and 17 when we were striking other farming communities. We did not. We called it farmer herders clashes. And we warned that those that mobilized people to go and fight so-called farmer herders clashes, these people, they have brought in a worm-infested wood into the house and have invited reptiles for supper. That's what's happening now. Others have come in because Nigeria is only country now, and you get hundreds of millions of naira.
Yes.
Like this was that they kidnapped in our brothers that kidnapped on this train now. It will yield hundreds of millions of naira for the kidnappers. Why would they stop? They have refused to fight
That was
crime.
also
That's
said,
crime.
he said, why would they stop? Well, how much were they making from cows
How much?
compared to
We're no
what
longer
they are
allowed.
making from
We're
kidnapping?
no longer allowed to talk about the fact that this issue has an ethnic dimension. It is predominant and an ethnic group. And so we need to understand it to solve it. Look, in America today, when you see a media profile of a criminal suspect, they profile you down to your race, your ethnicity, ancestry,
Your beliefs.
association, your beliefs. They want to understand why you are doing this.
Yes.
It is a solution to the problem, but it will not enable the society to solve the crime. Do you know that in America today, Americans discovered that Nigerians are into wire fraud. What is Yahoo, yeah. I mean, it's like me now denying Nigerians, stop calling Nigerians because they're into Yahoo. We do that, our brothers are doing this. And they discovered that it is one among the equal population of Nigeria. They have discovered that American law enforcement agents are now learning Igbo language to be able to go as undercover agents to break the syndicate of wire fraud in America. Why? Because they understood that this is prevalent among this particular demographic. So to be able to go into them, infiltrate them and get information, let us learn this, to start learning Igbo language to solve the crime. It's not for nobody is trying to characterize Igbos. Igbos are still very what the living life in the same US. Nobody has told them anything. But amongst the same people, we have the ones that are stealing our money. It's a solution to solving crime. Not how Al Qaeda, ISIS, and other jihadi groups were resolved. It was traced to the religion that it came from, the ideology, and like you said, the belief system. To be able to understand the psychology behind this crime, why are you doing this? So we can solve it. We have refused to admit this. In the late 90s, early 80s, and the early 2000s, European continental human trafficking was associated likely with Edo Delta State. When you see a lady
Yes, it was.
going to the airport and traveling alone and going to Italy, the next thing to mind is she's going for social. Edo people were, sorry to say, it was like an Edo thing.
Yes.
Edo people in Nigeria today, Edo people are some of the most sophisticated Nigerians ever. In every field of human endeavor, Edo people are blazing the trail. Edo and Delta, but there's the old Bendel state. Is it entertainment? Is it sports? Is it media? Is it industry? Is it banking? But they also knew that they had this problem. This was also a problem. The Edo people did not deny this reality that our people are involved in this tomorrow.
Yes.
So it took the first lady of Edo State. People would have to say, enough is enough. They have to sensitize to family members and say, hey, stop taking children abroad. Stop. They went to native doctors, stop preparing charms for these young girls. Stop. The Oba of Benin supported from the palace. There were a lot of enlightenment programs. People didn't say you are stigmatizing us. No. They knew that there was a reality that needed to be solved. And by the grace of God today, it is no longer associated with the do any longer.
Yes.
No. That is how a people take responsibility for a problem and solve it. There was a time in this country that if you go to Onitsha market, you cannot walk 1 kilometer without being robbed. We know that period. So with Aba, Igbo man had to form Bakassi. In realization that the criminal element among us is becoming too much. They devised a solution and they wiped out criminals. Until of course Bakassi became itself a problem, but they took responsibility.
Politics entered into it.
Took responsibility. OBJ was president in this country when OPC, Yoruba militant group, attacked the Hausa community in Lagos. I was in Lagos then. OPJ was Yoruba. The IGP of police then was a Yoruba man, Muslim Smith. OBJ ordered any OPC members that you want to arrest and resist, shoot him outside. That's what I shoot aside in my life. For the first time. He arrested their leaders, he destroyed them, he made no excuses for them, he crushed them. That's leadership. We've not seen that in this instance. We've not seen it. Mr. President, these are your kingsmen. Prove to us we are not taking side with them. Prove to us this is not a power agenda to take over Nigeria. Prove to us by doing what? Stamping them out, standing by us.
Incidentally, Masari also said, he said they are mainly Fulani.
Stand by us and fight these people. Stand by us. You will not be the first person. As an example that I keep making all the time. England, the monarchy of England is of Germanic ancestry. Elizabeth, by tribe, is Germanic. It's not English. Because our father, our grandfather, our great grandfather are from Germany originally. When our grandfather King George V was king of England, Germany, that was being ruled by her cousin, by her father, grandfather's cousin, attacked England. Carried out raids on British societies, British cities. The British monarchy, like Germany, decided to prove a point that we are British, but not Germans anymore. They dropped the Germanic name, adopted an English name, and declared war on Germany. And they came out stood with the people of England, English. Because people we call English now, all people that have become citizens of Britain are now British people or English speaking people. They stood by the people and waged the war against Germany and defeated Germany. That is citizenship. That's how a leader places nationality above his ethnicity. We've not seen it in Nigeria.
We could go on and on and on. Unfortunately, time is no longer on our side. And we've not been able to look at the last paper, that is our sister publication. But let's just read what the paper is saying this Friday. Cargo clearance, Togo, Ghana outperformed Nigeria by 40% in 1 year, as Lagos, other Nigerian ports rank low in efficiency competitiveness.
Yes, I think it's a problem.
Maybe 1 minute on it.
I will just refer to what Akim Addition said. The way I imagine our ports is not the way other people manage their ports. We have turned our port into a revenue generating agency, which is not supposed to be. Ports are to facilitate businesses, export and import, and grow the wealth of the nation. But in the case of Nigeria, we have decided to turn our own ports to revenue generating agencies directly. That is why we're having this problem. So most other ports are cheaper, more efficient, and facilitate trade within the country in and out. So that is the essence of having a port. So we need to actually change from this. We need to. It's very important. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Majid. It's been almost 1 full hour non-stop.
Thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your thoughts on today's headlines news stories. And with that, viewers, we've come to the end of today's Inside Nigeria that was brought to you on Leadership Television. I've had it in the studio to review, not just review, discuss the major headlines. Mr. Majid Dahir. Mr. Majid Dahir is a public affairs analyst. I look forward to seeing you next week, Monday. Meanwhile, have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget, security is personal business. Ensure you stay safe. I remain Winifred. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.